Good morning beautiful people all over the world, welcome back again here in my YouTube channel, Maverick Cruise Vlog. Pero bago tayo magpatuloy, kung bago ka pa lang dito sa aking YouTube channel at kung nagustuhan mo ang video na ito ay huwag kalimutan mag-like, share, comment, and subscribe. At pindutin na din ang bell button para updated ka sa aking next video upload.
When the Spaniards came to the Visayas, they noted that the pirates among them were more terrifying than the Mohammedans of Jolo and Mindanao. All year long, after the harvest, they would sail toward faraway places to hunt slaves and make surprise attacks on settlements. Those who did not live along the rivers would make their raids in the months of February, March, April, October and November, going deeper into the interior parts of the islands, sacking the villages. These raiding expeditions are called panggubat noun or manggubat gerund verb form. However, upon Christianization and Hispanization, the fiercest slave raiders among the Philippine Islands, the people Panay and the other Christianized peoples of the archipelago were converted and reformed, and they abandoned the practice of slaving, piracy and raiding and contented themselves to be simple soldiers or farmers. In 1581, Ronquillo moved the colonial center from Agtung to approximately 12 kilometers, 7.5 na milya, eastward due to recurrent raids by Moro pirates and Dutch and English privateers. He renamed this new colonial seat La Villa Rica de Arevalo in honor of his hometown in Avila, Spain. Ronquillo also settled groups of Spanish and Mexican soldiers to become the first colonists of Arevalo as he built his mansion in the area. The Chinese traders supplying the colonists then established themselves in Iloilo's Parian Molo. Meanwhile, Haro was soon filled up with various kinds of mestizos, mixed-race people, and Mandurriao hosted the growing Indian community near the Nanak Darbar Indian Sikh temple. In the early days of the Spanish period, the first Manila galleons were originally constructed at the port of Oton to the west of Iloilo. Since there was no precedent in Spain for the immensity of a Manila galleon, it could be argued that the prototype Manila galleons were of Visayan design, since the Visayans were already constructing huge multi-masted 4 to 5 deck caracoas in their wars against the other kingdoms, and thus, the technical know-how to construct the first Manila galleons was an amelioration of Visayan shipbuilding with Spanish shipbuilding. Oton built the first Manila galleons before operations were eventually transferred to the Bicol and Cavite shipyards. 1600s-1700s. In the year 1600, a large Muslim attack on Iloilo City was launched, with a force of 70 ships and 4,000 warriors, raiding and attacking several Visayan islands in order to abduct slaves. However, the attack was repulsed by a force of 1,000 Visayan warriors and 70 Mexican arquebusiers under the command of the Don Juan Garcia de Sierra, the Spanish alcalde mayor, who died in battle. With the increase in Moro incursions toward the end of the 16th century, Spanish defenses in the Visayas were strengthened by the construction of a fort at Iloilo staffed by 2 companies of Mexican soldiers. In 1635, in an effort to check the Islamic slave raiding into the Visayas Islands, the Christian Visayans from Iloilo together with Spanish officers and their Latino soldiers from Peru soon founded Zamboanga City and settled in it, using it as a fortress to prevent Moro attacks in the Visayas, and as a staging ground for Christian campaigns into Muslim Mindanao. In 1700, due to ever-increasing attacks especially from the Dutch and the Moros, the Spaniards again moved their seat of power some 25 kilometers, 16 miles eastward to the village of Irong-Irong, which had natural and strategic defense against raids. At the mouth of the river that snakes through Panay, the Spaniards built the fortification de Nuestra Señora del Rosario en el Puerto de Iloilo, Provincia de Oton, now called Fort San Pedro, to better guard against the raids which were now the only threat to their hold on the islands. Irong-Irong or Ilong-Ilong was shortened to Iloilo. Later, the natural port area quickly became the capital of the province. Sugar boom era and the late Spanish colonial period 1800s. Aduana de Iloilo, Iloilo Customs House is the second biggest customs house in the Philippines after the old Spanish Aduana, Intendencia de Manila in Intramuros and the American-era built Aduana de Manila, Manila Customs House. Spanish colonial local government in Iloilo allowed Chinese migrants which worked among the city's industries, the Locsin, Lopez, Halandoni, Lim and Sai families, and Latin Americans from across the Pacific Viceroyalty of New Spain to man its military fortifications, the Araneta, Derama and Arroyo families. In the late 18th century, the development of large-scale weaving industry started the movement of ILOILO surge in trade and economy in the Visayas. Sometimes referred to as the textile capital of the Philippines, the products were exported to Manila and other foreign places. Sinume, piña, and juicy are examples of the products produced by the looms of Iloilo. Because of the rise of the textile industry, there was also a rise of the upper middle class. However, with the introduction of cheap textile from the UK and the emergence of the sugar economy, the industry waned in the mid-19th century. Mansion de Lopez Nelis Garden, which is regaled as the queen of all heritage houses in Iloilo and Panay, is one of the grand mansions in the heritage district of Haro that resulted from the sugar boom. The waning textile industry was replaced, however, by the opening of Iloilo's port to the world market in 1855. Because of this, Iloilo's industry and agriculture was put on direct access to foreign markets. But what triggered the economic boom of Iloilo in the 19th century was the development of the sugar industry in Iloilo and its neighboring island of Negros. Sugar during the 19th century was of high demand. Nicholas Loney, the British Vice Consul in Iloilo, developed the industry by giving loans, constructing warehouses in the port, and introducing new technologies in sugar farming. The rich families of Iloilo developed large areas of Negros, which were later called haciendas, because of sugar's high demand in the world market. Because of the increase in commercial activity, infrastructures, recreational facilities, educational institutions, banks, foreign consulates, commercial firms and much more sprouted in Iloilo. City status Queen Regent Maria Cristina of Spain and her son King Alfonso XIII. The Queen Regent raised the status of Iloilo as a city, on October 5, 1889, in the name of King Alfonso XIII, who was still a minor. On October 5, 1889, a royal decree raised Iloilo's status from a town to a city, this on account of growing development in commerce and industry making her second to Manila in importance. Iloilo thus succeeded Manila, Cebu and Vigan as officially declared cities. Through the Bucero Law of 1889, the Ayuntamiento of Iloilo was established on January 7, 1890, its inauguration led by the former Governor-General Viliano Weyler. Iloilo City was the second most important city in the archipelago at the end of the Spanish regime. The Revolutionary Period 1896. Further information, Philippine Revolution. The immediate reaction of Ilonggo elite to the outbreak of the 1896 rebellion in Manila was that of surprise. They immediately responded with protestations of outrage and affirmed their loyalty to Spain. The Ilonggos themselves were united in their support of Spain during the first 2 years of the revolutionary period. Shortly after the cry of Balintawak, the Haro Ayuntamiento, another colonial city adjacent to Iloilo City, composed of native Ilonggos, convened a special session on September 1, 1896, where the Manila Uprising was condemned as an unpatriotic act that finds no echo in the noble hearts of Jureños, who do not forget the immense gratitude they owe Spain who, from nothing, raised us to a life of civilization and progress. The Ayuntamiento of Iloilo also affirmed its allegiance and loyalty to Spain and made a similar protestation. Condemning the uprising, the city's letter to the Governor-General says, "Those dark betrayals, the mere notion of which embarrasses good and loyal Filipinos, have produced a unanimous sentiment of protest and indignation among the Ilonggo people, who engrave its most honorable blazon in the sacred and inextinguishable love that it professes to the glorious Spanish nationality that it legitimately feels proud of. The Ilonggos are Spaniards, Your Excellency, and Spaniards will they be until death, because they do not want to live and die in another way than under the shadow of the august Castilian standard, to which they owe being dignified and free men now." Seminario de San Vicente Ferrer in Haro, Iloilo City, the oldest institution of higher education in Western Visayas region. It is the fifth oldest and the last seminary established by Spaniards in the Philippines. The Ilonggo volunteers established for themselves a distinguished combat record in Cavite. Once the Pact of Biak na Bato was signed, they returned to Iloilo. In April 1898 their homecoming, just like their departure, was met with much fanfare. This galvanized the Ilonggos into more public outpourings and manifestations of loyalty to Spain. Due to the loyalty of the Ilonggos, the city of Iloilo was honored with the perpetual title of Muy Noble, Most Noble. The royal decree granting this title was signed on March 1, 1898, by Queen Regent Maria Cristina. Over time, this title earned for Iloilo City the reputation of it being the Queen's favored city in the south, or simply Queen's City in the south, being the second Spanish port of importance next to Manila, and being located south of the archipelago's capital. On a side note, at the beginning of the American period until the Second World War, Cebu became the second port of importance, Iloilo having been partly ravaged by bombardment, fire, and riots during the American occupation of Iloilo City. Yet, it was also during this period of Philippine history that Iloilo was more popularly known as the Queen City of the South. This points to the fact that the moniker was associated with the Queen Regent's favor and with the honorary title granted to Iloilo City as La Muy Noble Ciudad, the most loyal and noble city, due to the loyalty of its citizens to the Spanish crown. Besides, the Ilonggos, who were among the first allies of the Spanish crown in the archipelago, contributed in the Spanish conquest of Luzon. It was in Arevalo later, a district of Iloilo City, Panay, that the conquest of Luzon was planned and launched, on May 8, 1570, with the help of seafaring inhabitants of the island.
They were still leaving in there when they I started looking at it.
Thank you for watching to all beautiful and amazing people all over the world. See you again to my next video upload. If you are new here in my channel, please don't forget to click like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to click notification bell all for more updates. I'm Maverick Cruz, saying, I love you all of you beautiful and amazing people.